himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the down pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah,
it's all about the entertainment. So I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Coming down to
Does
the
he
final
have
round.
it?
Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening and welcome back to the JPB Clio Cup season. Oh, it's not season 2 anymore, is it? We're in season 3 now here as well, and we're at round 4 from Road Atlanta. I am James Parfitt, going to be here with Zach Sweeney, guiding you through all the action here once more. Let's catch you up on the driver standings at the moment. As you can see there in the AM category, it is David Ayres out in front on 144 with Paul Godden on 131. Andy Littler in third on 116 with Dan Lewis in fourth on 114. Gary Walsh in fifth on 106, 1 point ahead of Edward Parfitt on 105. Chris Dixon in seventh on 99. Then you've got Roger Morton, Sir Alan Toon and Mick Barry, the last of the point scorers. In the AM teams, you can see at the top of the standings is JPB Racing with Dan Lewis and Edward Parfitt. Worked out by result with Andy Littler and Sir Alan Toon in second on 158. Sim Stickers with Paul Godden, and in Spiral by result with Mick Barry and Ollie Ricks. In the pro standings at the moment, it is Pete Newman out in front on 144. Adam Dalmont in second from Next Gen Racing on 128. Brian Holmes on 109. Adam McNally on 103. Then you've got Lee Deemer on 96 with Carl Jacklett. And Craig Jones tied on 95. Michael Seal on 56. John McCutcheon on 54. Lee Bowden on 52. Deck Crowther 51. Ches Rizzo on 46. Carl Hardy on 45 in 13th. Then you've got Stuart Gibbons, Charles Kellerman, and then Sam Smith. In the pro team standings, it's Fix Auto Aberdare out in front of 199 with Result in second on 193. Result X Pure Sims with Carl Hardy and Pete Newman on 189, and Fix Autos with Brian Holmes and Ches Rizzo on 155. Next Gen Racing on 128, Result Clothing Red on 119 in 6th. Safeguard by Result in 7th. Blade Designs 8th, and iRace Esports at the bottom in 9th place. Let's bring in Mr. Sweeney into the booth to tell us all about Road Atlanta. Zach, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I am looking forward to tonight. Road Atlanta is one of those circuits that I really do enjoy. One of my favourites, really, sort of in North America. It's just such a fun circuit. Of course, we're on a slightly altered layout of the circuit. We essentially basically just miss turns 6 and 7, the double right-hand complex at the back end of the circuit. We just do one long right-hander that leads us onto that back straight towards turns 10A and 10B, which, to be fair, is my only grievance about the circuit, is the fact that they've got the wacky corner names, but that's, you know, at least the corners themselves are all right. We've got fast, we've got flowing, we've got the heavy braking zone downhill into the chicane of what usually would be turns 10A and 10B, and all in all, just a really fun circuit, especially in sort of touring car-esque cars, you know, actual WTCRs and cars like the Clios, I think it's just going to be a perfect combination.
Yeah, I love this circuit. I'm not going to lie. I would take this circuit in any of the smaller cars. Clios, MX-5s, anything like that. I would literally take this car around it. I think it's absolutely amazing. Even touring cars can work down here as well. And I think that's one of the incredible things. This circuit layout just allows for these guys here. You can see we're on board with Mick Barry. He's just coming down into 10B, which you could aptly name 6A and 6B if you really wanted to. But it's a very interesting ring as well. The only one I think, to be honest with you, Zach, they've got to look out for, I would probably start at the beginning of the track on turn 1.
Yeah, turn 1's a tricky one because, you know, you want to carry as much speed through it as possible. There is a little bit of a dip mid-apex, sort of you dip down, you rise back up again. So obviously that does affect the balance of the car ever so slightly. In fact, actually gives you more grip as you reach that crest, similar to Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch. You sort of start understeer, and then as soon as you hit the bottom of the slope, you then get loads of grip and it bites back again, and it can sort of catch a couple of people out. But I think the main difficulty with turn 1 is the fact you want to carry so much speed through, so much so that sometimes you carry a little bit too much speed through and run wide on the exit or miss the apex entirely, don't properly utilize the camber of the track as effectively as possible, and you don't get as much rotation, which has that knock-on effect. You run wide out of turn 1 and then you have to swing it back before you get to the S's to have a better run through there. It really is one of those corners that sets you up into the rhythm of the circuit, and it's sort of, at most tracks, if you mess up turn 1, chances are the lap itself isn't going to be a good lap. And also when it comes to side-by-side action, yes, it's not, you know, the sort of a Maggots Beckett's type S corner when it comes to going side-by-side. It can be done, it is just a little bit tricky, and accidents can happen quite easily.
I think that's one of the things with this circuit. They're going to have to be careful, right? Partly because we're going to have 23 cars rushing down into turn 1. So side-by-side round turn 1 could put you on the grass, which will then put you straight up the hill, trying to go into turn what is potentially turn 2 and turn 3. So you can see here with Pete Newman, this is what we're talking about, this run into turn 1. You want to try and enter it about now. You can see how he takes that apex. Now running around there too wide, as you can see with Pete, he opened up the steering, let the car run to the left-hand side to set him up for what this is going to be turn 3. Exit curb as much as you dare, and I say that lightly because I have seen cars hit that exit curb and just spin around in the circle. Then this is where it's at, this long right-hander straight round the circuit, and on that run, which would be potentially 8 and 9, and then you come down into 10 and 11, and I think this circuit a whole, yes, it's very quick, it's very fast-paced, but it's great for these cars and these types of cars and they're battling. So I'm very excited to see how this one turns out as well. Good evening, Ria. Good evening, Craig Jones. Good evening, Mark Draper as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Ria, I am sorry I didn't get the scores over to you from the UK Sim Racers till yesterday. It's been a bit of a manic week for me, so unfortunately, yeah, I got to you as early as I can. Sorry if you don't get it done, that's fine. If you do get it done, no dramas either way from us. But Pete Newman sets the time on the board at the moment at 1:03.966.
Yeah, Pete Newman, of course, always the man setting the benchmark. Adam Delmont, though, in fairness to him, he's done a good job, especially last week at Phillip Island in Pete Newman's absence. Adam Delmont really stepped up to the occasion. I think in the end, what was it? Race 1 obviously was a little bit iffy, but it was a first and a second or something crazy like that. He wasn't outside the top 2, let's put it that way. Adam Delmont was on an insane run of form, and I think that is going to continue today. I think we spoke sort of at the start of the season how Pete Newman was always the driver at the front, and sometimes the person that was fighting him sort of chopped and changed a little bit. It sort of exchange each race, but the continuity was Pete Newman. I think over the course of the last couple of races, Adam Delmont has now sort of stepped up to that same standard where he can be in that same sort of caliber as Pete Newman. He can consistently run at the top, and I think he will. And I think bit by bit, that gap at the top of the championship is going to close, and we might see Pete Newman under a little bit of pressure in order to defend his championship. As it stands, though, not too much separating the majority of the field. I mean, the top 5 only separated by 0.4 of a second, which, you know, just definitely goes to show how close this field is. But also, you know, we've also, just in general, I think the entire, well, those that have set a representative lap time all the way down to Charles Kellerman in 17th is only 1.5 or just over 1.5 seconds, which isn't too bad in terms of competitiveness. It means that, you know, a decent chunk of these guys have got a good shout at, you know, a top 5, a podium, a win.
Yeah, Carl Hardy's got some greens on the board. He's just coming round what is potentially the final corner here. Let's see what Hardy can do. He is sandwiched between Pete Newman, who's going over the line now, Carl Hardy and Adam Delmont. I'm going to give them free time, and it is Delmont on the fastest lap here, Zach, on a 1:03.716. So out of the 3 at the moment, Delmont seems to have the pace over everybody, and I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, as well. Jono, go on, Michael. New Performance Link driver. Well, at the moment, he's registered. If that's Michael Seal, he's registered for Safeguard by Result. So, yeah, need to let me know on that one. If he's changed teams or if he's running Safeguard for this series only. But I think all in all, even down here with Michael Seal, you know, David Ayres, Roger Morton, Derek Qualver, they're all not too far apart at the moment, and I think they're going to do a good job keeping up with everybody, and I think the racing from these guys could be very exciting. I think we could end up with battles all the way through the field, Zach, as we know we normally generally do.
We do, yeah. We have fight to the front, fight to the middle, fight to the back. That's pretty much the standard these guys have set. Unfortunately, they've set themselves such a high standard, it's difficult to rise to that standard week in, week out. And yet somehow they manage to do it. So, yeah, these guys are a good lot in terms of not only their pace, but also their racing etiquette, which arguably is more important. It's all sort of well and good having fast drivers if they don't know actually how to race. But these guys both are fast and can race. So it sort of blends itself well into quite a fun series to commentate on, to watch, I'm sure to be a part of as well in terms of the on-track action. You're never bored, I suppose. You've always got someone around your skill level to fight with. That's the problem with turn number 1, as to how it is so easy for things to go wrong. Stuart Gibbons unfortunately running his way off track. Again, just a small little, I think maybe just hit a bump or something ever so slight, destabilised the car and undersid off the road. And that curb on the exit either doesn't really help all too much, because you go over that and then you're on the grass. And while the grass is a bit more bearable recently in iRacing, still not exactly where you want to be.
No, definitely not. And I think that's, you know, I do love the fact that they've add texture to the grass, you know, made it a little bit more grassy rather than icy. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, you know, you still don't want to be running on it, because at the end of the day, it's a very tricky situation for people to try and deal with. You know, we're still seeing people slide. We're still seeing people spin. Not swim, because they're not in water.
Impressive.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. So there's still a lot involved with it, you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be an interesting race. I think the interesting 3 races here, and I think it could be truly a magnificent race. And I think that long back straight is going to really make a difference. Not as long as normal, but it's still long enough to make the overtake.
Yes, but the problem, I suppose, is the fact that before it is quite a long right-hander, where, you know, you can sort of, it's even in cars like these, it can be a little bit more tricky to follow, because as the driver behind, you want to take as much speed into it as you can, but then almost you're kind of stopped by the car in front of you, so you sort of have to slow down a little bit, hampers your run. Basically, the general rule is going through a fast corner, the lead car typically has the advantage to sort of stretch the gap a little bit.
Yep.
So it's something to be mindful of. But if you can get a good run, if the driver in front runs wide and you can keep it tight, by all means, you've got an amazing chance to go for a move into 10A and 10B. So many memorable moments have happened at that chicane for me in my commentary career. I've had a car go onto its roof. I've had a car be flipped onto 2 wheels. I've had cars go side three wide on the exit at some points. It's the chicane that does everything. So if you can get a good run, absolutely it's the place to go for a move. Downhill braking, so sort of it's a little bit variable. Some drivers are going to brake a little bit earlier than others. It's a perfect opportunity for you to send it late on the brakes. and a great opportunity to move your way up into what could be, I don't know, maybe the lead, maybe the podium, or just the driver in front of you. It's, yeah, a definitely good overtaking opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They've got to be looking to try and stay close enough through the right-hander. The problem is obviously the right-hander is a very tricky corner in its own right, and you can run easily wide there as well. Adam Dalmont setting the pace, 104.251 at the moment. Sorry, 103.716. Time's dropping off at the end of quali like we normally have here, Zach. So it's all going to be pretty much where they are at the moment, I think, is where they start. It's going to start the race, I should say.
You, as a sim racing commentator, did you just forget the word race?
I completely forgot. I was going to say round, and then I was going to say heat, and then in the end I just decided race.
Okay, right, that's fine. That's cool, awesome. But yeah, we are towards the tail end of the qualifying session. For those unfamiliar with iRacing...
Hold on a minute. Don't sound so judgmental, like I've forgotten the word race. Did you not have a little bit of a boo-boo the other day?
What? No, I didn't actually. I'm a perfect commentator. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't make mistakes. Nah, not me.
Red is pro, says Rhea. Yes, Rhea. Rhea can tell me, actually. She's here every single broadcast. I'm sure you've made mistakes over the last week, young Zachary. Don't you go picking on me.
Only mistake is turning up. No, I'm joking.
Oh, you know where the door is. Just don't let it hit you on the way out, sir.
Well, my door's broken. It's full of its hinges, so I can't actually use it as a door. But anyway, yeah, qualifying is over. Here's the grid.
Yeah, look at you. Here's the grid. I'm going to back out of it this one. Adam Dalmont is on pole position with Pete Newman in second, Carl Hardy third, Anna McNally in fourth, Michael Seal in the AMS in fifth. Great job. John McHutchison in sixth, Roger Morton seventh, David Ayres eighth, Lee Deeman ninth, Derek Crowther 10th, Stuart Gibbons 11th, with Paul Godden, Ollie Ricks, Carl Jacklett and Andy Littler rounding out the 15th. Charles Kellerman, Dan Lewis and Edward Parfitt rounding out the top 18. And then you've got Chris Dixon, Craig Jones, Mick Barry, Sir Alan Toon, Brian Holmes and Gary Walsh. So there we go. Right, let's get ready for what will be a very exciting evening. Good old James. Hey, Jamie Dengle. Zach full of mistakes. See? No. Oh, dear. Rear backing me up.
Yep.
Never mind.
It's fine.
Good job.
It's all right.
Good job Phil's not here. You're being in even more trouble.
It's fine. It's no Phil.
It is Phil. It is. There you go. Right. Let's get this race one underway. We're just waiting for Lee Deemer to get on to the track. The man who's in sixth in class, ninth overall. Let's see what will happen here as well, and how much drama is going to commence down into turn one. It's going to be an interesting one. Stay tuned. Get your popcorn. Deemer's on the grid. Going to be up and running. The lights are going to be coming on right now. 3, 4, 5. And we are off here for Heat 1, Lap 1 at Road Atlanta for the JPB Clio Cup Round 4. Let's see what happens. We've got Adam Dalmont out in front with Newman and Hardy in second, with Adam McNally in third there as they start going up in the hill. Is everybody going to make it round turn one cleanly? It looks like they have all done up through 2 and 3. Adam Dalmont still out in front with Newman and Hardy. Further back, we've got McHutchison running side by side with Roger Morton through the S's. Not sure that's an ideal scenario, but there we go. We've got some gainers down the back end of the field. Chris Dixon up 2, Edward Parfitt up 2, Brian Holmes also up 2 as well. But Adam did what he needed to do there, Zach. He got away, got the job done.
Yeah, well, he's not got the job done yet. He's still got 90 minutes and 10 seconds left of racing action. But in the initial phases, to keep track position, absolutely perfect job. Because now he's still in control. He's not started the race on the back foot. He's able to get into this rhythm at his own pace. He has got to be careful, mindful, because you've still got Pete Newman behind you. That's not going to be an easy task to keep behind. But if he can remain in control, if he can just try and keep it at arm's length, that's all he needs to do. He doesn't need to run off by 10 seconds. He just needs to keep Pete Newman 7/10 back, and he should be fine.
Oh, Kellerman side by side here as well. I need to see where that come from. I don't know, right? Because, yes, it looked like that there was contact between, obviously, my boy and Charles Kellerman. What I'm trying to work out here is, did Charles Kellerman miss the corner, though, Zach? Because he didn't look like he was turning in.
It just looked like he was just not intending on turning. Fair play from good old Parfitt Jr. Let's have a look.
Kellerman's on the inside. Watch, Edward is on the left. He's trying to go out as far as he can, and Kellerman doesn't turn.
He doesn't. What? Unless he had a lock-up or something that obviously stopped him from turning, but he was late on the brakes. Like, maybe Edward was a little bit early, but oh my goodness, but he was cutting it quite fine as to how late you can brake for turn 1.
Yeah, he was never going to make it. I'm not being rude there to Charles. Obviously, I would be like this to anyone, whether it involved my son or not. It didn't look like Charles was going to ever stop at that point. I'm not going to lie. Chris Dixon having a nice little tidy battle down the field with Mick Barry and Craig Jones. It looked like Mr. Jones has just got himself a wonderful slowdown here, and unfortunately had to drop to the back of the field. Stuart Gibbons with Kyle Jacklett in behind, and Derek Crowther, his teammate, in front currently at the moment here as well. Can Kyle Jacklett, as we know, is the man who can't, well, I'm not going to say he can't pass, he makes it very, Dixon gave him no room there. He gave him literally zero room.
He didn't. Yeah, I mean, fair play. As long as you can sort of get away with it, then by all means push the limits. So, yeah, he gave him a little bit of a squeeze. That's fine. You can get away with it, but yeah, just be careful as to how hard you are actually pushing those limits, because a step over and, well, you might be in a little bit of trouble with the steward and team after the round. But all good for now. Kyle Jacklett on the back of Stuart Gibbons as they run their way through the S's. A little bit of a missed apex there from Jacklett, and that's going to have a huge knock-on effect. That's going to allow Paul Godden to close the gap. Side by side between the two of them, that was close. And it all started there from that one missed apex from Kyle Jacklett.
Yeah, and it just put him all out of sync, didn't it? And that's the problem when you start doing that. You just end up the rest of the flow. I think that's one of the best things I love about Road Atlanta. It just flows. And if your flow get interrupted, you're in trouble. And it's not because you're not good, it's just because you're in that zone, you're in that flow zone, I suppose. I don't even know if that's a zone, to be honest.
He's in Incredibles, didn't he?
Yeah, no, isn't that Fro zone? I don't know, flow zone, fro zone, whatever. Anyway, but you start doing it now. As you can see, you're coming up to turn 2, oh, down one. Now nearly lost his rear end there as well. Pete Newman goes through turn 3, drops down the hill into 4, plummets downhill here, Zach. And I do love this downhill section. It's so fast flowing. And then they're on the brakes trying to get the car down into 5th gear around the right-hander. Pete Newman and Adam Dalmont, Carl Hardy, McNally and Sill all involved in this battle. And boy, oh boy, is this getting spicy.
It really is. And again, what more do we expect from the Clio Cup? These guys are absolutely insane. Great lap time, it must be said, set by Carl Hardy. He is looking amazing in terms of pace, and it's 3-way between all of them. Pure Sims, though, looking quite strong, able to isolate Adam Dalmont at the front of the field. Though how interested is Carl Hardy going to be in playing the team game? Ascent for the lead, going through turn 12, and Pete Newman goes for it. Adam Dalmont gives him the space, keeps his foot on the outside, though, and it's the run towards turn number 1. Carl Hardy definitely now going to be eyeing up that move. He's going to use his teammate as a pry bar to keep that gap open for as long as possible. Adam Dalmont, though, keeps his foot in the long way around through turn number 1, and he might just, with a little bit of luck, keep this lead.
Oh, he's got bullied out by Newman. They're going to be running side by side. Hardy and Dalmont running side by side. Down through the S's they go. Dalmont's got his nose in front. He's coming back. Hardy's now taking it as well. Side by side round turn 5. Here they go. They're rubbing. They're leaning on each other. We've got Adam McNally in there. Michael Seals coming in. John McHutchinson's getting involved as well. Oh, he's on the grass. Hardy's on the grass. Oh, he nearly had him there as well. It's almost too wide, too deep, too wide all the way through this pack. And Dalmont and Hardy, they're leaving nothing on the table. They are chucking at each other.
They are. And I'm not complaining. I love to see it. And we don't like people sort of, beating around the bush. We want you to give it how it is. Carl Hardy and Delmont just going absolutely crazy. Pete Newman, however, is going to be loving the fact that they're battling. It's able to allow him to open up a gap. But Adam Delmont, once more, that outside move through turn number 1, he absolutely loves that. But what it does do is put him on the back foot going into the S's. Unfortunately, the next gen car has thought better of it and decided to back out. But Michael Seal, John McCutcheon, Roger Morton, all the way down to David Ayres is now in this train behind them all. It's all aboard the Hardy Express.
It definitely is here. Brian Holmes is having a nice comeback through the field, of course. Brian started at the back. He's now up 8 places, and he's now got Andy Littler, his next, I was going to say victim, but that's probably not the right word, but I know what I'm trying to say, out on the front here. But Carl Hardy, Delmont side by side again, down into the chicane, the left, then the right. Michael Sills in there, John McCutcheon, Roger Morton, Adam McNally and Lee Deemer. They're all scrapping away here, Zach, and we've still got 13 minutes remaining.
Yeah, no, we're not even halfway through this race yet, and yet they're fighting as if it's the last lap for the championship. You can see 4 cars nose to tail queuing up behind Delmont, who is trying to minimise the gap to Pete Newman. Unfortunately, he sort of dug himself into this hole now, and it's going to be hard to get himself out of it because he's defended too early. He's allowed Pete Newman to get away. He's realistically not going to catch, so he might as well just defend as hard as he can for second. But in doing so, he's got to be really careful because he might defend for second, but he could lose the place to Carl Hardy. He could lose the place to Seal, McCutcheon, Morton, and very easily could find himself towards the back end of the top 10 if he's not careful. So Delmont, it's a risky game, but will it be worth the risk?
Well, that's going to be the question. Craig Jones is down here battling away with Edward and Gary Walsh. Edward there right on the back of Walsh, looking for the exit out of turn 5 to be able to get that long run down the straight. Can he get it here at the moment as well, this young gentleman, as he comes out of 5? Is he going to be able to get up past Gary Walsh and make that move on the inside? He's got the run. He's got to be very late on the brakes. He goes for the move there as well, sends it in deep, does manage to make it through. Did he get it stopped? He did. Craig Jones is also having a go over Gary Walsh as well. Gary manages to hold on to that one, but that is Parfitt, 9th in class, 19th overall. Brian Holmes still stuck behind Andy Littler.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a... Oh, that's an up and under as well. Brian Holmes doing a brilliant job as to hanging on from Andy Littler, but yeah, no way through for now for the 999 machine. Holmes is doing a brilliant job. Up 10 places from where he started. That is absolutely insane. Probably will stop there, 2 seconds up to Carl Jacklett. Going to be a little bit of a tough gap to close, especially when he's locked in this fight with Andy Littler and Paul Godden, and to be fair, Dan Lewis as well. Plenty of pockets of battle starting to form, and really looking forward to see the second half of this race side by side a little bit further up.
Yeah, McCutcheon just cleared Morton there as well. So Roger Morton and John McCutcheon swapping positions once more. Lee Deemer's in front, the Scotsman here of McCutcheon that I know so well. I've met in real life. I've known him in many, many series that I've commentated on. Has now got Roger Moore. Oh, no, John and Deemer. They went together. That was very nice of each other. Oh, nice little... John hit Lee, and then unfortunately both of them ended off at the side of the circuit. It was like tandems there for McCutcheon and Deemer.
Yeah, it's almost like McCutcheon sort of knew where he went wrong, so he was just like, you know what, I'll just straighten up the car and not make the corner either. We'll go off in symphony with each other. Nice little... it's probably not the best first date that I can think of. But it's one. Go and build some sandcastles together in the gravel. That's good on them. But yeah, it was a silly mistake from McCutcheon. A little bit too late on the brakes, and unfortunately saw him into the back of his I don't know, husband to be maybe. Who knows?
Where was you going with that one, Zach?
I don't know. I was trying to think.
No idea where you were going either with that one there as well, to be honest, mate. I'm not really sure where you were going. Paul Godden having a go with Andy Littler here as well as he goes around 2 and 1. Godden does go up the inside. Dan Lewis is closing in the background as well. Lee Deemer's just going to go up the inside of Cole. Limey. Lee Deemer goes in very deep, opens up the steering. Poor old Sir Alan Toon there, probably saw his light flash between his eyes. Parfitt's got Mick Barry behind him. He's got 8.5 seconds up to his teammate, which is Dan Lewis. Edwards up 3 places, of course, after his earlier incident with Charles Kellerman, which I still find it quite weird that Charles just went straight on, but you know, there we go. Now, Gary Walsh and Chris Dixon. But yes, Mark Draper, you are right. Pete has gone by about 2.5 seconds here as well, as Gary Walsh just about to try. Oh, Dixon gave him so much room there. That was very nice of him. I'm not quite sure I would have given him the same amount there, Zach.
No, neither would have I. But yeah, at least that's a nice gentleman thing to do. That's wide. Who's that off the road? That is Paul Godden. Was it off the road potentially? At turn 12, he was literally just about to rejoin. Not entirely sure, but nonetheless, Craig Jones and McBarry find their way past. This is what happened. Oh, that's rough. That is rough. That's also a wall.
Rough for who though? That's the problem, because
see, the track naturally bends.
Yeah, but he goes right now. I don't really know. I don't know if Edward is just unlucky at the moment, the way he's looking in this thing here. But again, the track.
Edward's gap to the white line stays the same. If we take another look, and you sort of, obviously not going to get a tape measure out and sort of measure the constant gap between Edward and the white line. But if you look at his car and the distance sort of to the white line, he doesn't really move over to the right. No. I mean, he does because that's the way the track goes. But relative to the edge of the track, he doesn't really move. As side by side here, we can see a couple of moves going on. Yeah, Lee Deemer and Gary Walsh fighting over 17th place. Lee Deemer, of course, having a little bit of a stinker of a race one down 8 places. But going back to the Edward Parfitt thing and obviously with Paul Godden, Edward isn't moving relative to the edge of the track. He's just following where the track goes, whereas Paul Godden really isn't. So it just sort of just manifests itself into, they just come together. I'm not entirely sure who can point the blame. I'd say it's a racing incident more than anything.
Yeah, and also Mark says he thinks there was a little solid air there as well, which, as we all know, can happen. Carl Hardy is now on the back end of Delmont, coming into the last 5 minutes of this race. Hardy trying to run the outside line. Is he going to be able to get the exit out of turn 1? Is he? No, I think Hardy's going to have the corner for 2 and 3, but I don't think this battle is going to be done either, Zach. I think this is going to rock on for another 5 minutes.
Let's hope. Because I don't want this to end. Of course, we still got race 2 and 3 to enjoy, top 10 and followed by a top 15 reverse grid. So looking forward, obviously, to seeing how those two pan out. Adam Delmont, though, under a ton of pressure from Carl Hardy, who's doing everything in his power to allow his teammate to gain some points in terms of the championship. Adam Delmont, is he going to go defensive down the hill and towards turns 10A and 10B? Carl Hardy, not quite able to go for the move just yet, and with just a handful of laps left to go, he really does need to get a move on, because he is all over the back of Delmont, and a fantastic run through the chicane might well see him try and at least set up a move.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's going to rage on here as well. Delmont has managed to open up a little bit of a gap. Craig Jones now tucked up behind Edward there as well. That's Lee Deemer and John McHutchinson. I think that's actually John McHutchinson there as well. Craig's trying to go around the outside of 10. Edward shuts the door on the inside, gets the exit out, and now Craig is going to have a run down into turn 12. Is there going to be space left here as well? We've seen this happen once already. Edward turns to the right hand side. Jones can't make it through. Is he going to be able to go up the inside of 1? Edwards on the defense already there as well. He took that defensive line early, gets the brakes, gets the car stopped. Now Jones and Parfitt going to run up almost side by side with Jones and McHutchinson there in the background. And currently at the moment, this is probably the closest battle on track as we speak.
Yeah, I think it is, quarter of a second. The next closest one is Chris Dixon and Paul Godden, but obviously this one is a little bit further up. Craig Jones, of course, in the pros, would like to get himself past Edward Parfitt, though not really going to be much of a difference in terms of points, albeit will allow him to alleviate some pressure back to Lee Diemer, who does take away some points if he finds a way past. So Edward Parfitt, this isn't really his fight. Is he going to fight it anyway? Of course he is. He's not going to go down without a fight. He's a racing driver, and well, Craig Jones tries to go the long way round. He's going to set up the double up and under with a good run off of turns 10B through 11 and down the hill towards 12. Has the gap opened up? It hasn't quite, but I am surprised to see how hard Edward is fighting this one.
Yeah, I think he's just having a battle, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Just having a laugh.
Having a laugh, innit? Having a laugh, having a battle. There's no reason for him not to. We've spoke about this before. They're on the same piece of circuit. They're allowed to battle. I know Craig Jones is probably sitting in his car. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely loving this, I bet, as well. John McCutcheon has just got a nice little elbow from Lee Diemer there, and Diemer come through and said, well, if you're going to hang around, I'm just going to go and have him. So Lee Diemer's on his bike and is now chasing down Edward. Alan McNally is also battling away with David Ayres. I think that's one of the things here as well, mate, and I think that's the interesting thing, is you know, these guys don't mind battling each other as long as it's clean, fair racing. And you've seen that was clean, fair racing. So I know Craig Jones is probably sat in his car absolutely loving every single moment of that, because he just loves the good racing regardless who it's with.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's a respect thing. You know, you're out there to have fun. For some, yes, they're out there to win championships and win races and things. But for some, it's just, you know, your Monday evening, go and have some fun with some, you know, a good bunch of people who you enjoy racing with. So whether it is for points or position or whatever, as long as you're out there having a bit of fun, jostling together, fighting hard but fair, then everyone's going to be, you know, enjoying the racing that they've got. So many times we've sort of spoken to drivers and we've said, oh, well, you finished quite low down, but, you know, how do you feel? And they're still happy because they had a good fight with someone who they're with on track. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's to some what matters most.
Yeah, exactly. These four are not letting up here. Diemer is going to try and send it. Edwards on the defense again. He's squeezed Diemer. He's opened up the door. Diemer's gone back up the inside. Edward gives him room. Is he going to jeopardize it for the exit with Jones? Jones is going to try and get the run on Edward as well, I think. And unfortunately for Edward, it looks like that one move by Lee Diemer has cost him 2 positions on track. Is he going to have another go up the inside of Jones? He's looking up the inside of turn 1. Has he got his nose ahead here? Look at this. My old boy, he's like a young Mike Tyson having some on the racetrack.
Yeah, well, let's go with that.
I don't know. Give him credit, Zach.
Mike Tyson won, didn't he?
Yeah, it's only his ever second season in league racing. You know what I mean? You got to give him a little bit of props.
1 second. How many fights did it take?
But you Googling.
1 second. 2 minutes. It took Tyson 27 professional fights to become a champion. How many races has Edward had?
Yeah, but he is still a wee whippersnapper in form of iRacing. He's only been on it like 6, I don't know, what's he been on it, 4 months, give or take? So, look, back off you. Stop being...
Oh, give him some slack.
Yeah, give him some credit here as well. Lee Diemer and Craig Jones fight out. Jones is just trying to go up the inside. Final lap of the race here as well. Already, God blimey, that was gone quick. As these guys are still fighting out. I'll keep an eye on Pete Newman. He's just going round turn 10. These guys still scrapping away once more. Paul Godden also scrapping with Mick Barry, but Pete Newman is going to come over in race 1 to take that victory here, and in the pro category, great job from him. And then Adam Delmont did manage to hang on after a wonderful scrap with Carl Hardy, and then in the pros, it's Michael Seal taking the still taking the win with Roger Morton in second and David Ayres in third. So there we go.
Not a bad race.
No, not a bad race, and they're still going at it further down here as well. Jones and Diemer, McCutcheon has cleared Edward, but that is a back marker switch anyway. McHutchison is a lap down. Now Jones is going to try and run down to the line. Is Dima going to give him the room? Is he going to have him? Oh, Dima got him right at the line. What's happening with Ollie Ricks here? And also his teammate in front. Whoa! Ollie Ricks got, Gary Walsh actually got it over Ollie Ricks. So a nice little run down there as well as we pick up Alan Toon, who's just gone over the line.
Yeah, so not bad race in all fairness. Fight from start till finish, which we cannot complain about whatsoever. And here's how they wrecked up after 20 minutes.
Yeah, it is. Pete Newman out in front there with Adam Dalmont in second. Carl Hardy in third. That's your pros. 1, 2, 3. Michael Seal, Roger Morton in the AMs in first and second with Adam McNally splitting the podium for the AMs with David Ayres finishing in third. Brian Holmes is in eighth, Stuart Gibbons ninth, Deck Craver in 10th. He will be on pole for the next race. Andy Littler, Dan Lewis, Lee Deemer, Craig Jones and Edward Parfitt with Gary Walsh and Ollie Ricks. That's down into 18th. Paul Goddard, Mick Barry, Chris Dixon, Sir Alan Toon, John McHutchinson and Charles Kellerman there as well. On a brief little break, but we can bring you up the grid for race 2. It will be Deck Craver out in front with Stuart Gibbons, Brian Holmes, David Ayres and Adam McNally, your top 5. Roger Morton, Michael Sill, Carl Hardy, Adam Dalmont, Pete Newman, Carl Jacklett and Andy Littler are your top 12. Dan Lewis, Lee Deemer, Craig Jones, Edward Parfitt, Gary Walsh and Ollie Ricks rounds out the 18th. Paul Goddard, Mick Barry, Chris Dixon, Sir Alan Toon, John McHutchison and Charles Kellerman at the back. So they are just got a brief little warm-up here, Zach, but it should be an exciting race 2.
Should definitely be. I'm really looking forward to getting things back underway. Of course, we're going to have Pete Newman starting to the starting towards the back end of the top 10, well, in 10th place. And then he's going to be fighting his way back through the field. Adam Dalmont, Carl Hardy are going to be starting ahead of him, so he's going to then have to re-overtake them once more. So yeah, it should be a very interesting display of racing, but who knows who's going to come out on top, James? It could be anyone.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Literally anyone. But I'm not sure if you was to pick someone who it would be and how it will turn out. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It's going to be exciting for race 2, I think, as well. We've just done the grid already for race 2 here as well. And they've got about 2 minutes 20 before they go again. Mark Draper, Lil Parfitt is punching above his weight. Great racing. Yeah, he's been practicing. So there you go. And Ria, what do you mean these races are sponsorship and money? Winning is the only fun. Turn 1 determines the race. Well, if you're in an official, I probably fully agree with you, to be honest. That's yeah, and it's a public lobby. But it is pretty much, isn't it, Zach? As well, if you're in a public lobby, last to first, turn 1, it's got to be done, right?
Easy peasy. Honestly, the amount of times that I've just jumped into an official race and have just gone, you know what, I'm just going to start from the back and see how we go. I get to sort of turn like the end of the first sector, whatever track I'm on, I'm like, hang on, I'm inside the top 10 from starting last. When I first got iRacing, to build up my safety rating and things, the biggest piece of advice I got was you don't really care where you finish. You just care about how clean you are to the finish. So pretty much the entire first few weeks of racing, I was starting from the pit lane every race.
Mm-hmm.
And I still managed to sort of, get some decent results purely because of how strange the driving standards were in officials, especially sort of in rookies and things. So, yeah, definitely got to be careful. But thankfully, these guys are a little bit better than that.
Yeah, they are, and I think it's well, it's a difficult one because the league's just got better and better as the seasons have gone on. We're now in season 3 and the standards of drivers have just got more and more and more and more amazing. So, it's there for everyone. If you want to get involved, join the JPB Leagues Discord and come and have some fun. We've got Clios, GT3s, new GT4s, TCRs are coming as well. So, yeah, stay tuned for that one. It's going to be exciting.
So, We're moments away from getting ourselves underway for race number 2 of the JPB Clio Cup. Of course, we're here at Road Atlanta for round number 4 of this brilliant championship. We still have got a long way to go in terms of this championship. Again, we've got a 10-round season. We go to Zandvoort in a week's time, following that Sonoma, Barber, Zolder, Mid-Ohio and Sebring to round off the championship. And, well, plenty of action between now and then. Championships to be decided, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves because we still have some racing to get our teeth sunk into. The 5-minute countdown will finish. We'll be on the grid and we'll wait eagerly for the 5 red lights to illuminate your screen. Derek Crowther, Stuart Gibbons on the front row with Brian Holmes and David Ayres, the AM Championship leader, rounding off row 2. Here are the 5 red lights. Here for race number 2 in Road Atlanta. Who's going to be the one to come out on top in the reverse grid race? The lights go out and we're underway. Big bit of wheel spin from pole position for Derek Crowther, and it is going to allow Stuart Gibbons to get a little bit of a better run, though. Is it going to be enough for the 47 machine to launch an attack into the first corner? Not quite close enough, I don't think so. Derek Crowther will be able to retain the lead, at least for now, as Adam McNally already up a place, up into 4th. What about our front runners towards the back end of the top 10? No movements from either Carl Hardy, Adam Delmont or Pete Newman as it stands into the S's for the first time, and it's Derek Crowther that leads from Brian Holmes, Stuart Gibbons, McNally and Seal, the top 5. What a start, James.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous start there. They got an absolute flyer, but some people didn't. Dan Lewis, Gary Walsh, Alan Toon, all having a little bit of an incident there as well. David Ayres, looks like Charles Kellerman may have also been involved, but these guys are going side by side on that run down into 10A and 10B here, Zach. It's going to be very, very exciting to see how this turns out.
Yeah, let's see who's going to be the one that's bravest on the brakes. Late there from Stuart Gibbons on the inside of Derek Crowther. He's been able to pick his way past, but the counter-attack immediately. But Adam McNally gets the up and under with 3 wide on that run. Flying now in formation, 2 rows of 2. As you can see, Michael Seal trying to get himself involved in that yellow and black machine. Now he's side by side with Stuart Gibbons, I should say, into turn number 1. Who's going to be the one that comes out on top? The inside line is advantageous, but we've seen before the outside line can prevail if you keep your foot in long enough. That's definitely cutting it close in terms of the limits. But as we run away into the S's, it's close to contact. They all funnel themselves out. No, they don't. And off the road. Did he catch it? He caught
it. Roger Morton caught it coming out free. He got tapped from Carl Hardy. That was an incredible job there for Morton. Did an absolutely stellar one. I'm not going to lie, that could have been a lot worse. And with that snap going on as well, he could have been in. Oh! That was one of the results, wasn't it? Pure Sims, boys. That was Carl Hardy going off. There's also been a big old crash at the back as well with David Ayres, John McCutcheon. It looked like Parfitt's been involved here as well. There's the initial contact, and then here's the second contact as well. Yeah.
My face says it all right now. Obviously, you can't see that, thankfully. But yeah, that is not great, to say the least. A couple of skill issues creeping into the mix there. A couple of unfortunate bits of luck. Adam Delmont trying to pick his way past Derek Crowther on the inside this time at turn number 1 for the 77. He's up now into 7th place and is on the back of the 007 of Carl Jacklett. Let's see if Delmont can find a way through sooner rather than later. You can see Lee Deemer on the back of the 999 machine of Andy Littler. That's wide though. Oh, a small bit of a mistake, and again, these small mistakes can really have huge knock-on consequences if you're not careful. Thankfully, so far, we've seen the small mistakes actually be recovered quite well.
Yeah, unfortunately, some of them have not been recovered quite so well, and some of them ended up off the side of the circuit. We saw Carl Hardy go off there as well. Now, Ollie Ricks is kind of he's in a bit of a rock and a hard place at the moment, because there goes Roger Morton. Craig Jones is coming with Carl Hardy, Paul Godden and Mick Barry, and then Derek Crowther and Carl Jacklett are running side by side as well. So it's all getting a little bit close here as well. That looked like a little unnecessary turn into the JPB car, says Rhea.
Yeah, I think we'd have to take another look at it to properly sort of digest it, but I wouldn't say Edward is at fault. You can see David Ayres just being unfortunate, and I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a left-hand turn, so Edward's going to have to turn left at some point. I I don't really know where to call the blame.
No,
Maybe he could have left a bit more space, but was there a car's width? I mean, I don't know. I would have backed out if I was the car behind.
Yeah, me as well. But Brian Holmes having a fight with Adam McNally up the front of the field. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. You can see the Morton, Ricks, Hardy, Jones, Godden battle here as well. And you've also got Mick Barry, who has lost his bumper. I don't think Mick's ever completed a race with his bumper. I don't think he's ever had it on the end of the car by the time he's come over the line.
Fair enough.
I can't actually remember a race where he finished with it. That was a bit of a dodgy exit. Yeah, don't need it. Edward Parfitt running side by side with Gary Walsh here. And Edward goes up the inside and is back up and running. Brian Holmes, Adam and Nally swapping places. I've got a funny feeling Holmes may have got a little bit of an off track there, because that is not the normal line where you come out of turn one there, Zach. And I've got a funny feeling he's missed the corner. And yes, he did. I was going to say, you don't normally come out of turn two like that, young sir. So, yeah, it's been an interesting one so far, and I'm not quite sure what's going on.
No, it's almost like it's our job to know what's going on, but
no, we don't.
We never do.
No, I think that's the thing, isn't it? We do know what's going on.
We fake it till we make it.
Yeah, and then the problem is when you see things that have happened, you kind of sit back and go, I'm not quite sure how we've ended up here, because race one was so clean. I think that's the problem. And now all of a sudden we've got this sort of barrage of incidents going on. We've got Ollie Ricks just battling away with absolutely everybody. Two not in his class, one in his class, and the Scotsman of John McCutchinson's closing up as well. So, and we've got Edward and David Ayres and Chris Dixon being chased down by Edward here. So it's all going to get very, very spicy very, very quickly. So, yeah, and we've still got 14 minutes to go.
We still, I mean, 20 minutes it's a sprint race, but sometimes it is, a fairly decent chunk of time. I suppose it depends what side of the corner you're on. If you're trying to defend, it feels like an eternity. If you're trying to attack, it feels like not enough time at all. A good run from Craig Jones. This is what I was alluding to in qualifying. The car in front running wide, giving you that chance to just drive on the inside, take that tighter line, and now find yourself potentially on the outside, granted for the chicane, but as long as you're brave enough on the brakes, then, well, anything is fair game. Paul Godden trying to find his way past Ollie Ricks as well to the inside of 10B. Don't get me started on these wacky corner names, because it's not. It's absolutely not. There's 10C, 10D. Turn 1 is now 10E. Then you got it's just ridiculous. Anyway,
did you read that? You're just making it up as you go along. But anyway, carry on, because there's action on the track.
There is, and it continues. Oh my goodness me! Into turn number 1. Fair play to be able to hold it. Now as they run up the hill in towards 1B and then into 1C, Paul Godden a little bit twitchy as he runs wide ever so slightly, but able to keep it up. Now we're running our way into turn 1F as you can see Adam McNally under a little bit of pressure from Michael Seal, in behind Brian Holmes as well in a three-way fight for the lead. Pete Newman closing them in bit by bit. He set the fast lap of a 1:03.7. He is on a charge towards the front.
Yeah, he definitely is at the moment as well. I just realised for some reason Michael Seal is registering as an AM, but he's actually a pro.
He's a pro on the live timing?
Yeah, I'm not sure why in my system
not on the timing tower.
No, I'm not sure why he's registering as an AM. There you go, he is a pro now. So, yeah, so that wasn't Michael Seal, it was Morton, Ayres and whoever finished in third in the AMs. Side by side with Holmes and McAnally here though, Zach, and they're going at it once more. You see Delmont in the background just cleared Stuart Gibbons.
Yeah, he's done a decent job. Stuart Gibbons not really had the race of his life, to put it nicely. Starting from pole position. Fair enough, actually to be fair, still inside the top 10, but yeah, would have maybe wanted a little bit more. That early scrap, I suppose, did set him back ever so slightly. But yeah, he's going to be looking to hold on from Carl Jacklett, who himself is having a really respectable race. Here's Edward Parfitt, a few places down on where he would want to be at that top 15 cutoff for the reverse grid. Would like maybe to be in sort of that vein to once again get himself into that reverse grid pole for race 3. It's not quite going to work out for him. He potentially is going to be under pressure from Chris Dixon a little bit further up, and you can see Michael Seal under a ton of pressure from Brian Holmes, who is going to be going for the move for the lead into the inside of turn number 1. Is he going to be brave enough on the brakes? We might well find out. He is. Nice little move there from Holmes. Demotes Seal to second. Adam McNally now wants to capitalise on it and make the most of it as well. Up over the crest into the S's. Not quite close enough on this particular occasion, but a good move nonetheless from Brian Holmes.
Yeah, he did make it through there. Seals got now Adam McNally, Pete Newman, Adam Dalmont coming at him once more. Carl Hardy's battling away with Roger Morton, but his front battle is the closest one on track at the moment. So let's see how this one turns out. McNally gets a little bit wide. He's looking for almost like a slingshot around the corner to try and get onto the back of Michael Seal here as he's coming down into the chicane, the left and right here at Road Atlanta, and off they go once more. McNally is closing in his act, but he's just got to get a little bit closer, I think.
Yeah, just needs to find that little bit extra of an edge, just something to sort of get him past Seal. I know that sounds obvious, but when you're at a fight at this level and you're fighting towards the front, there's not really much separating you guys. So you're all doing the same lines into all the corners, you're braking at the same point, you're accelerating. You need to find that difference, that little extra that's going to just tip you over the edge and allow you to get that move done, whether it's forcing the driver in front into a mistake, whether it's trying to take a different line through a corner to set you up a little bit better for the next sequence. All these small things can definitely add up. The last thing you want to be doing, though, Adam McNally, is falling into the clutches of Pete Newman. That is one way to do the opposite of what you want to do and go backwards rather than forwards. A very wide line coming out of the long right-hander could well see him susceptible to the reigning champions attack as down the hill in towards the chicane. Don't think Pete Newman's quite close enough, but McNally definitely not making the steps that he would want to in his pursuit for a place further up on the podium.
No, they're coming up to a back marker as well. I think that's Satan Toon in the front of these guys, and knowing Sa'al, he will just kind of almost jump out the way there. I don't have any fears about him getting involved here once more. As you can see there as well, he does jump out the way, hits the brakes to make sure he's fully out the way so everybody can get through. Carl Jacklett battling away with Derek Crowther, McNally and Newman side by side up into turn 2. Now Newman's going to have that inside line. McNally's going to try coming round the outside. I wouldn't suggest too wide through the S's here, but it looks like McNally's going to do it anyway. Newman's going to give him room, then Newman's going to hit the curb. Is he going to be able to, or does it come round 5? They are here, Zach. Very close racing with Alan McNally and Pete Newman.
Yeah, exactly what we want to be seeing. Pete Newman, of course, trying to work his way towards the front of the field. Definitely not an unreasonable shout as he's once again under pressure from Adam McNally. He's not backing out whatsoever. He pulls out to the right-hand side. If he's brave enough on the brakes, could give him the inside, but just too much understeer, and it's washed the car out too wide, and it's actually put him on the back foot as Adam Dalmont is trying to pick his way.
I think he's got through.
He has easily done, because he was just on the wrong line. McNally was on the complete wrong line. The car was unstable, and Dalmont just said, cheers, mate, and went his way around the outside. Derek Crowther and Carl Jacklett swapping places. Jacklett increasing his run of form up to 4th place now, so the 007 in to 7th place, and a good move nonetheless as Lee Demas sends the move into turn 1. Beautifully done, and, well, he also demotes Derek Crowther down another place.
There it is. Roger Morton battling away with Carl Hardy. Can you lay off rear in YouTube chat? What is going on here with you two? Having a nice little combo. And good evening, Phil. Sorry, I'll say good evening to you once more as the racing commences here at Road Atlanta with Derek Crowther and battling away with Lee Deemer. Pete Newman now cleared Michael Seal, and Newman's going to take that 2nd place here. Zach doing an absolutely stellar job is Newman, up 8 positions and into 2nd, and then just Brian Holmes to go.
Yeah, I don't understand what these guys have for breakfast and how they are so quick. Like, it's just, I'm envious, right? I want to be this quick. I want to be this good at racing, but I'm not. But these guys are, and they just know what they're doing. They know how to drive. They know how to race. They know how to be consistent. And to do it in front-wheel drive cars as well. I mean, usually, yes, they're underpowered. That is a mistake from Pete Newman. Did we just catch that on camera? Pete Newman making a bit of a mistake. Not enough to see him behind Seal. But usually the front-wheel drive cars are the ones with, max 250 horsepower, with little to no aero, with, all these small things that, in theory, should make them easy to drive. But I'd rather you give me 800 horsepower rear-wheel drive with no traction control than give me a front-wheel drive car. They are surprisingly quite difficult to drive, these touring car S cars, like these Clios, front-wheel drive cars, etc. for maybe it's just me, maybe I just don't like them as much, but in my experience, they are the more difficult car to be able to handle and to drive fast, because you get understeer instead of oversteer. You're actually having to battle the car, in my opinion, a little bit more. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting skill set that these guys have. And let's not forget that these guys also race in plenty other series in plenty other different cars, and that adaptation from one driving style to the other showcases why these guys are so good.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there as well. Lee Deemer's still battling away with Carl Jacklett. Was that bit of team tactics there with Seal, letting Newman through, sister team and all? Could well be, but I've never seen Pete Newman take a handout, I'm not going to lie. He probably wouldn't accept a handout anyway, to be honest. I'd probably tell you to get on and race him, because at the end of the day, Newman is a racer. Deemer and Carl Jacklett running side by side. Are they going to leave each other fair room in 5? They do. Carl does manage to hold on, and you can see the battle commencing in the background there as well, with Roger Morton, Andy Littler, Derek Crowther still fighting out, but Seal's back up to the back of Newman here once more.
He's trying his best to put some pressure on Michael Seal. I have to say, no offense to him, I am a little bit surprised that he's fighting this hard with Delmont and Newman, and it's not like it's a fluke. Like, he is on pace. He's not been given this position. He's worked himself up from 7th place on the grid. He's now on merit, on pure pace, fighting with the 2 championship leaders. Michael Seal is a very, very formidable driver. Will that be the case over the course of the rest of the season? Only time will tell, but at least for now, he's taken some good steps in the right direction. Collectively as a group, though, Brian Holmes is still 2.5 seconds in front, which is not where they would want to be, especially as time is ticking into the final, nearly the final 4 minutes of this race. They're gonna have to get a bit of a move on soon.
Derek Crowther looks like he's just gone into the pits, and this is why Derek Crowther has gone into the pits. Turn 1, proving once again that it is a tricky corner. Oh, unless Mr. Crowther has got a problem, of course, which is fully understandable. You don't normally pull over and smack the brakes as hard as that. So I hope everything is all right there as well for Mr. Crowther. But battles all the way through. Deemer, Hardy and Jacklett still going at it. Newman and Seal still going at it as well here for Adam Delmont. So a full-on battle all the way through the field.
Yeah. Again, to normal Clio standard. What more do we really expect from these guys? They live up to their own standard that they've set, which is close, competitive, hard, fair racing. And once more, we're seeing the epitome of said greatness. Pete Newman, 2 seconds now is the gap to Brian Holmes. That last lap, 4 tenths quicker. As a group, they're all in the 104.2s. Whereas Brian Holmes is in the 104.6s. Is there going to be enough time? As there is the move. Adam Delmont picks his way past Michael Seal on the inside of turn 5. Beautifully done. Is Seal going to be interested in fighting this one too hard? He's staying to the left-hand side, which to me shows his intent of maybe trying to break as late as he can into the chicane. Not quite close enough on this occasion, so a swap of places between Delmont and Seal. But still, they need to be charging forward. The more they fight now, the more they sign their fate as only fighting for the podium. But Delmont defensive, Seal trying to put some pressure on. We've now only got, what, three laps to go.
Yeah, if that at the moment with Delmont and Seal running near enough side by side down into turn 1. Delmont on a big old defense here as well. Behind that, Carl Hardy still going with Carl Jacklett is making a move through as well. Is Hardy going to try and go at the inside of 1? He is. Jacklett's on the left-hand side by side on the run up into 2. How is this one going to work out? Who's going to come out on top of this one? It should be Jacklett if Hardy uses his noddle. He does, but the problem is with Hardy, he's opened it up to Lee Deemer here, Zach, as well. So Deemer's getting a piece of the action. Hardy's just lost a little bit of time.
Yeah, not quite been able to make the same advancements as those around him. Maybe part and part due to that mistake that he made earlier on. Seeing him off track has tarnished his race ever so slightly, but yeah, no place is gained for him as it stands. He's going to be looking to get past Carl Jacklett if he can. I mean, something's better than nothing, and it's still going to give him a good chance potentially for race 3, putting him right in the middle of the pack. A little bit wide from Jacklett, missing the apex, so we could see Carl Hardy go for the up and under. Beautifully done. He's nipped his way underneath, found himself on the inside line going into turn 12. Very big gap between the two cars, though. Carl Hardy taking the inside line, and the wideness that Carl Jacklett took invited Lee Deemer to nip his way up the inside as well. not quite got the run going down the pit straight towards turn number 1, and in fact has actually put Dima on the worst line as he finds himself side by side trying to defend from Roger Morton.
Yeah, Roger Morton's having a go at Dima there as well. Jack Hardy all the way through. We've got the leader, Brian Holmes, is going to be coming round. He should get just about one more lap in here. So let's see how this one pans out with this group. I think it is going to be Dima. What's going to happen with Dalmont? Dalmont's now cleared Seal, and it's now him and Pete Newman once more. Brian Holmes going to come across the line. There is Mr. Holmes. I'm hoping he doesn't lose a little bit more time over this next lap. Let's see the lap times as they come over the line. For Brian Holmes, it is going to be a 104, 105 for Newman, 104 for Dalmont. Can Holmes hang on here, Zach?
Well, that is the question. I think it's a test of time. Of course, we're on to the final lap of this race. Pete Newman, 1.5 seconds. He's got to close it and then also get past. So that's going to be easier said than done. I think Brian Holmes might just be able to hang on to this 1 or 2 laps more, and I'd be doubting it. But I don't think there's enough time in this race for him to lose this race.
No, I think Brian Holmes should come over here, the winner. I'm not going to count who's going to be in second because I have no idea until they come down into this chicane here as well. Dalmont's hanging on. Newman's gone to the left-hand side. He's made his intentions aware. Dalmont's going to try and run him brake late. Newman's made it through. He's made a little bit of a mistake. Is that going to give Dalmont a little bit of a better run down into the line? But here comes Brian Holmes. He's going to take the victory here, Zach.
He is through the final corner, and he's driven a brilliant race. Pete Newman, though, on that run to the line, is going to hold off Adam Dalmont for second place, with Michael Seal narrowly missing out of the podium. But Brian Holmes, take a bow. Beautiful race as he came across the line, and exactly what we wanted to see from him. That 46 machine just drove perfectly from the start. Also, three-way fight for the top 10. Roger Morton hangs on from Andy Littler and John McCutcheon over the line. Brilliant race between these guys. But all in all, James, a very successful race and a very deserved winner.
Yeah, definitely as well. Morton takes the win in the arms there, Zach, as well. So a stellar job from Roger Morton with Andy Littler. Current pole man is going to be David Ayres, will be pole for race 3. So, yeah, very exciting in race 3 coming up, Zach.
Oh, yeah, cannot wait. We'll talk you through, obviously, the results in full when we get them up. But yeah, what a race. And, well, we've still got one more to go. One more 20-minute race to decide round number 4 of the JPB Clio Cup, waiting, of course, for the final couple of drivers to cross the line. And then, of course, we can take you to the full list of results and confirm what 20 minutes of action in race 2. The top 10 reverse grid, of course, this one. And it's Brian Holmes that took victory ahead of Pete Newman and Adam Dalmont on the podium. Michael Seal, Adam McNally rounding off the top 5 with Stuart Gibbons and Carl Hardy 6th and 7th. Then comes Carl Jacklett, Lee Dima and Roger Morton, the victor in the AMS, rounding off the top 10 with Andy Littler, John McCutcheon and Ollie Ricks in behind that. Craig Jones, David Ayres, the AM Championship leader, will be taking the reverse grid pole position for race 3 with Paul Godden, unfortunately narrowly missing out only a 10th and a half of a second between starting P1 and starting P16. That is how close the Clios are. Charles Kellerman, Edward Parfitt, Chris Dixon and Dan Lewis, the top 20, with Gary Ross, the last of those, finishing on the lead lap. Then comes Sir Alan Toon, Derek Crowther and Mick Barry, the final of the 24 grid contingent that we've got here. Bit of a warm-up before we're back underway for race number 3. And James, well, race 2 was the top 10. Race 3 is the top 15. Are we going to see another step up in terms of the chaos?
Maybe. I don't really know, to be fair, because it's been fairly clean tonight. And normally I write down things as I go along, and I haven't got a lot written down on my sheet of paper. So I think it's been not a bad evening there as well. So it's been a great night of racing, and I'm looking forward to race 3. Yes, Phil, you're not here for the next 2 days. You're going away, aren't you, Phil? Where are you going? Anywhere nice? So there you go.
Hopefully not Norfolk.
And, well, maybe. And then Zach and Ria, you're still going at each other here. Can you politely stop harassing Ria in YouTube chat? And Ria, can you stop giving my co-commentator grief?
Actually,
I feel like a teacher in a kindergarten.
No. Because of your awkward situation with your chest infection, you're my co-commentator today, James.
Well, only yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, boom, I win. You have got the power to take that away whenever you like, but it's fine. Because technically speaking,
but I also sound like a croaky frog at the moment as well. It's
always Road Atlanta.
Yeah, it started off really well, and then it just kind of got dramatically worse as the race went on. So
But it was me.
Yes, it was.
It was Road Atlanta for me when I had my little what's his name at Toy Story, the penguin dude. Is his name Wheezy?
Yeah, Wheezy.
That is it. Yeah.
That was funny though.
Oh, it was. Yeah. I'm surprised it's not ended up on the TikTok yet. I think Callum Island is still trying to find it.
Yeah, that did fully make me laugh. I'm not gonna lie, because I was just like,
I know.
Oh dear.
Did you mute yourself on stream?
Yes.
Or did you just let it come through? I was gonna say.
No, I'm muted.
Because I had you in my ear laughing away, but I didn't know if the stream could hear you giggling away at yourself. So I was there trying to give it my all and put all the passion without the voice. And then I just had James Parfitt taking the mick out of me in YouTube chat. This is what our boss is like, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know.
Hold on a minute. Let's relax.
Transparent.
Let's relax, right? I don't think personally I am a good boss. I don't think personally I'm a bad boss, right? You get all your tools to do. You get all your tools to do the job. I give you everything. You get paid, which is always good. You know, you can have fun while you're commentating. We could be a very serious broadcaster here, young Zachary, and then what would we be doing? Do you know what I mean? And
probably not having banter with a YouTube chat.
Exactly. We probably wouldn't even be allowed to interact with YouTube chat. But I find it brings the community in. And look, we've got Phil coming back. Hope you get out of hospital soon, Phil. Hope you are well. We've got Rhea coming in every broadcast. We've got Mark Draper popping in and coming in as well. I don't think we're doing too badly. And I think interacting with YouTube chat makes people feel a part of what we do. And I wouldn't want to take that away. So, honestly, I don't think we do a bad job. And honestly, I think I'm a good boss.
You're all right. You're all right.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
I can't complain. There's definitely been times with other bosses of mine that I have wanted to rip their hair out. Well, what's left of it anyway. And with you, I haven't yet, so it's fine.
That's because I don't give you reason to. I do the job, and you get all the stuff you get in advance, well in advance as well, young Zachary.
That is true. That is very true. You're very speedy. You're very efficient. So yeah, I can't complain. As much as we like to take the mick out of each other, it's all right. We do all right. And I also can't run my mouth too much because the vast majority of my work comes from JPB, so it's fine. But yeah, I do like the community aspect that we've got going on. I like how we can sort of have that banter with the YouTube chat, and we've got those regulars coming in, helps to relate with them and sort of have that human aspect of it. We're not just these quotation marks professionals in the commentary booth talking about racing action. We are just people. We're here to have a bit of a laugh and sometimes, and also bring you hopefully some entertaining racing as well. Race 3 about to get itself underway. It's David Ayres, the AM Championship leader, taking pole position. Ahead of Craig Jones, Ollie Ricks and John McCutcheon rounds off row 2, with Andy Littler the top 5, joined by Roger Morton, the AM winner of race 2 on row 3. Lee Deemer, Carl Jackler in behind on row 4, with Carl Hardy and Stuart Gibbons rounding off the top 10. Then comes Adam McNally and Michael Seal keeping each other company on that run towards turn number 1. Adam Delmont and Pete Newman, two championship rivals in the pros. Will Delmont finally be able to outscore Pete Newman in a race? This is his last chance to do so. Race 2 winner Brian Holmes rounds off the top 15, with Paul Godden just in behind on row 8. Then we've got Carlos Chellerman, Edward Parfitt, Chris Dixon and Dan Lewis, the top 20. Gary Rolster, Alan Toon, Derek Crowther and Mick Barry at the 24-car contingent. We're about to get ourselves underway for 20 more minutes of racing action, and we are go once more in Road Atlanta. David Ayres getting a good start from pole position, followed by Craig Jones and Ollie Ricks, who fly into turn number 1 in single file. Any movements amongst the field, well, you can just see the absolute carnage of cars absolutely everywhere behind third place in that area. It basically is essentially just a war zone, and it's all about trying to pick your way through the carnage as effectively as possible. Roger Morton trying to pick his way past Andy Littler side by side. In the background is Carl Jackler and Lee Deemer battle over 7th place, and Carl Hardy trying to get himself into the mix as well for Pure Sims. Unable to though as Jackler thwarts off the attack. Beautiful racing and quite a chaotic opening lap.
Yeah, definitely as well. They're all running great racing. They're all running side by side. They've all been epically in battles. There's battles all the way through the field. Brian Holmes, Kellerman, Godden, Lewis, Crowther, Dixon, Walsh and Parfitt. Unfortunately, it looks like he's taken a trip off somewhere. Roger Morton and Andy Littler here as well. Littler's just been dived by Dima, spun by Dima, and Dima is unfortunately responsible for that one. I probably would feel would be the message there as well. So yeah, a little bit dodgy there once more, but everybody's still scrapping and side by side here with Delmont and Gibbons.
Yeah, Delmont trying to pick his way through the carnage. Up 4 places in the opening moments, which is absolutely insane. Just trying to look where Pete Newman is. He's only up 2 places as opposed to Delmont's 4, so really fighting his way through the field. Looking very, very strong, that 77 machine. Adam McNally as well, just ahead, making up 3 places in the opening moments. Side by side, down through the hill, Lee Dima, Stuart Gibbons, Pete Newman as well, trying to pick his way into the carnage through the downhill, sweeping right, and then it's uphill once more through the left. Pete Newman just able to get himself ahead as we run away in towards turn number 5. Pete Newman into 11th place and up 3 places. Back to the fight at the front though, Craig Jones into the race lead. What can David Ayres do about that?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think one of the things you said is Pete Newman down here, he's only gained. I wouldn't doubt Pete Newman on a reverse grid. I'm sorry, the man is as cool as a freezer. He will make his way through and he will pick his way through, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see him in the top 5 by the end of these 20 minutes. I'm not going to lie. He is as cool as a cucumber here, but Craig Jones, David Ayres, John McHutchinson, going to be very interested here with the Scotsman. He's very quick in other cars. He's loving the Clios. I'm not going to lie. He has said he's loving the Clios here as well. So he's having a great little battle here with these top 2. So it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, Jonesy! Oh! Craig Jones off the side of the circuit, loses a couple of places. 2 wide, 2 deep. Go through the S's, Zach.
Yeah, not really exactly the formation you want to be flying in that particular sequence of racetrack. Ollie Ricks and Craig Jones. Ollie Ricks, by the way, is hanging on to his podium place phenomenally. John McHutchinson trying to pick his way past David Ayres. Side by side, the Scotsman pulls out to the right-hand side of your shot, the left-hand side of the circuit, the inside line for turns 10A and 10B, and has moved his way past. We are nearly 3 wide into the chicane as Carl Hardy is there, and round goes. Unfortunately, I think that might be Craig Jones off the road. Parked on the apex of B as well, which is not what you want to see at all. But, well, 5 cars in the span of about half a second. What more do you expect?
Yeah, I got a funny feeling here as well. If you watch the Fix Auto car at the back here, he tried to avoid Roger Morton, and then Carl Hardy was there as he went in the inside. So unfortunately there for Craig, it all got a little bit scrappy. There's battles all the way. I'm not even sure what's going on. That's Pete Newman. Newman's had an incident. And a big one. Oh no, that's Carl Hardy. Don't tell me you've taken out your teammate.
Oh no.
Oh no, they did.
They have.
They did. Oh, then Newman with Jacklett.
Ouch.
Oh, Hardy and Jacklett. Hardy and Newman. Not
That's
ideal.
sore.
That is demotion for Carl Hardy. I don't know, but that is, look at Newman's car. It looks absolutely chock-a-block. So, yeah, interesting one. Dan Lewis finding out with Carl Jacklett.
Yeah, having a good bit of a battle. Well, I wouldn't want to be in the Pure Sims debrief, let's put it that way. Yeah, I don't know. Blame can go both ways, I think. Both definitely could have played more in avoiding that, but following on, Dan Lewis, he's got Carl Jacklett for company. A little bit further up, Ollie Ricks under a bit of pressure from David Ayres as he's managed to nearly lose the car. He's managed to actually keep control of it, but he might lose a couple of places thanks to that small mistake. Adam McNally trying to force his way through on the inside. Delmont fighting away as Ricks is not giving this one up without a fight. He wants that podium place and he's fighting tooth and nail for it. Down through the S's, it's going to be the outside line for turn 5. Nearly gets his nose swapped off, and oh my goodness me, he's found the gap. He's forced Delmont wide, and Ollie Ricks take a bow. He's being so aggressive, but in the best way possible. He's doing everything he needs to keep that podium.
Yeah, exactly. He's fighting out now side by side with Delmont. Delmont's being pushed here by the 4-7-8. That is Adam McNally. McNally and his teammate scrapping side by side. Rick still having a go as well. Ricks is still fighting out with these guys in the middle. Ollie Ricks I think this is his first race of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember him being here after that. Battling it out side by side. There's almost contact there as well. Carl Hardy's in there. It's all getting a little bit close. Ollie Ricks is just doing a stellar job and he's off. Oh, that's Adam McNally and Ollie Ricks, I think, are both off into the grass.
Yeah, there he is, rejoining the circuit. Oh, into the path of another car nearly. I'm going to guess that car isn't drivable.
No.
And is now back to the pit lane. Fight for second, though. David Ayres versus Adam Delmont. Delmont going to be looking to gain some huge points as Pete Newman's all the way down in 15th place. Is Delmont going to go the long way round at turn 5?
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it gives him the inside for turns 10A and 10B, but he doesn't even need it. He's already ahead. I don't know how hard David has fought that one, but fair play to Delmont nonetheless. As there's Ascend in the background, side by side, as you can see, going through turns 10B. Michael Seal on the inside of Lee Deemer.
Yeah, he is as well, and a great little scrap commencing all the way through the field. I've got to be honest, I'm loving race 3 at the moment as well. I just talk about how cool and calm Pete Newman is, and then he goes out as an incident with his teammate. Yeah, not an ideal scenario for you, Carl Hardy. David Ayres is playing smart, right? And he knows he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars until he really needs to battle with Roger Morton. So technically for David Ayres, he's playing the game of, I don't need to fight you. I get the same points as you. So I'm going to let you go. And I'm winning the AMs at the moment. So I'm going to take more points than you anyway. He doesn't need to. So I think David Ayres is playing a stellar job at the moment.
Yeah, I would say so. Again, the next AM is Roger Morton in 10th, so he's got loads of time. He can let all of these guys through and still get the same amount of points. It's not really his fight. I mean, again, yeah, obviously, you know, you still want to have a bit of a battle and things, but why risk it? You know, he was on the back foot through race 1 and 2. This is his chance to get some points back. Why risk it just to have a fight with some of the pros? I mean, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Put your ego aside for a second and just think about the championship. Again, as nice as it is to say, oh, look at me, I'm battling with the front runners in the pros.
There's no reason.
Yeah, but there's no reason. You know, you finish 5th overall, you finish 6th overall, you win the race overall, you're still going to get the same amount of points in the championship score sheet. And at the end of the season, that's all we're really going to be caring about anyway. So why risk it? Throw it all away for the gain of what? You know, some pride. The fact that you can put it in your Twitter bio that you fought at the top end of the JPB Clio Cup, I don't know. Just don't throw it away. Keep it nice and clean, and you know, have a nice, peaceful race to the end. Because again, he can let Derek Crowther through. He's still got 3 seconds back to McNally, who's then got half a second back to Kellerman, who's then got 1.3 seconds back to Roger Morton. He's got a huge bit of time in the bank. He doesn't need to throw anything away at all.
No, I think he's doing a great job. Unfortunately for Pete Newman, though, as well, as Phil says, is that Newman's car, the new lightweight Clio? It is at the moment, and it's got no bumper on the back there. That's Dan Lewis behind him. We've got Paul Goddard in front with Carl Jacklett, who's chasing down Parfitt there as well. Lee Deemer, David Ayres has now got Dick Crowther, and again, there's no need for him to fight Crowther if he really wants to. I think David Ayres is possibly playing this as smart as anything at the moment. So, a great job from David Ayres. I've got to be honest here as well. He's doing a great job.
He is. As I say, race 1 and 2 weren't huge results to write home about, but you know, he's still managed to sort of get the best out of it. And is doing exactly that now in race 3 to sort of manage that championship lead, if you will. Again, be interesting to see how hard he fights with Derek Crowther. I wouldn't imagine it's overly hard because, again, what is the point?
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see what he can do. I'm sure Crowther's just going to go to the inside. David Ayres is like, yeah, off you go, mate. Fair enough. Cool. Cheers. Because effectively, he's lost a place, but he hasn't lost a place. He's just, he's just there. He's just hovering in amongst some pros, doing his own thing, driving the race. He's got half of it now left to go. We've just ticked over the 10-minute mark. As long as he keeps it nice and clean, it's his race in the AMs to lose, and essentially, you know, some easy pickings in terms of the points. What I will be interested to see though is the gap between McCutcheon and Delmont. That last lap was 0.5 quicker from Delmont, but if he keeps it up at that pace, I don't think he's going to have enough time to close the gap. So he needs to be chipping away a little bit more at the Scotsman if he wants to win.
Yeah, John McCutcheon out front though, and it's not a position that we need to really worry about, I think, as well for John, because he's been here before. He knows the track, he knows the situation, he's loving the car. Chris Dixon and Stuart Gibbons are going side by side at the moment as well. So let's see what Chris Dixon and Stuart Gibbons can do. And he's also got Brian Holmes for company as well. So this could be an interesting one for Dixon. Gibbons and Holmes also having a nice little battle here once more. So let's see how this one all pans out.
Yeah, three-way fight between all of them. Looking pretty decent in fairness. You can see Stuart Gibbons looking to go to the inside of 10B. Chris Dixon not going to fight it too hard. Again, it's a difference between pros and AMs, so not really any net gains at all between the drivers. So yeah, Chris Dixon doing the right choice. I think he might have the same mentality when it comes to Brian Holmes, who unfortunately isn't having the best of race threes, and just goes to show the roller coaster in the Clio, showing, I suppose, how competitive it is that you can go from P1 to P18, you know, at the snap of a finger. Yes, obviously he's lost already 14 of those places thanks to the reverse grid, but he's then continued to go backwards. You can go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows, and Lee Diemer trying to keep that fourth place ahead of Michael Seal as it stands. Down the hill in towards the chicane, and Diemer's got it covered as Seal has got no way through. But yeah, the fact that Brian Holmes has gone from race winner to P17 overall is quite astonishing.
Yeah, he is, Lee Diemer, and obviously this is Michael Seal having a battle as well. Roger Morton is on the back end of Charles Kellerman. Morton and Kellerman, obviously they race in previous seasons together in series. They know each other as well. Carl Jacklett is chasing it down Mr. Parfitt Jr. here as well, just as never-ending Winkleface. As Parfitt making huge gains. He has at the moment, he is up 7 places, is Mr. Parfitt. So let's see how long he's going to defend from Carl Jacklett and how long this will last. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. So yeah, let's see what happens here once more as well, and see how he gets on as Jacklett makes a mistake.
He does. Small one, but a noticeable one indeed. So he's going to have to recollect himself, regain his composure, I suppose. Moves further up as well. Roger Morton ahead now with Charles Kellerman, who is on the fight back, pulling up to the right-hand side, going into the chicane, but you haven't really seen many successful moves to the outside of that first part of the chicane. It really is inside wins.
Yeah, it definitely is here as well. Roger Morton did manage to clear there, and now it's a scrap in the AMs for that final podium place as well, Zach, by Parfitt and Godon. You can see them in the background. These guys have had wonderful battles before and are still going to be battling away as we're going into... Oh, we've still got 6 minutes to go. 6 minutes of racing left, and I've got a funny feeling Mr. Parfitt Jr. is going to be battling for his life for them 6 minutes.
Oh, I think so as well. He's been a warrior, really, through this race. Up 7 places from where he started. Just, you know, sort of makes you think, what could he have done had he started a little bit further up thanks to reverse grid? But again, it's motor racing. You can't be living in shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just have to be thinking in the absolutes, and what can you do in this current moment. As it stands, Paul Godden is going to be trying to demote him of that 3rd place in the AMs if he can. And again, the fight for the podium, albeit, yes, overall 11th place, but amongst the AMs, it's a fight for a top 3 place, which is very, very important. He's got about 5 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in this race. So side by side, further up, Adam McNally versus David Ayres. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is, yeah. McNally Ayres is leading the AMs, isn't he?
Of course he is, yeah. I just didn't recognise there's his livery there. I thought he was in a bit of a different one, but he's actually fighting away with Adam McNally, which is the complete opposite of what we're thinking, as McNally goes wide and just about is able to stay ahead well, not stay ahead, but stay pointing the right way. And, well, David Ayres, I don't know, maybe he's sort of felt quite confident in his position in this race and wants to sort of give the pros a bit of a run for their money. But saying that, Roger Morton's only 1 second behind.
I know, I think he's backed off too much. I've got a feeling that he's backed off too much here, and it could be under threat from Morton if Morton gets this run on the last 5 minutes. I think David Ayres could be in the grips of him as well, and, you know, it's going to be an interesting one. He needs to make a choice now, David Ayres. Let McNally go and concentrate on your laps, or fight him and get in the clutches of Morton. Me personally, on your bike, McNally, off you go, son. I'll stay with you. Because this could wipe out as well. Yeah, let him go. I would let him go.
sit in a slipstream.
Mm-hmm.
Easy peasy.
No.
Contact between the two of them going into turn number 1. McNally's got the inside line. Why is David Ayres fighting this so hard? It's a bit of a twitch as well, sent him wide. And now Roger Morton is all over the back of him with still 4 minutes left to go in this race. Still plenty of time for Roger Morton to make some moves. David Ayres, we commended his racecraft earlier. I think we're doing the exact opposite right now because that is not what you want to see. If it had just let him go, he'd still have a 1.5 second gap. He'd be in the slipstream of a pro and he'd be cruising along to the end of this race. But now he's really got a fight on his hands.
Yeah, so it's Parfitt here with Paul Godden as well. For SimStick and Sim Life, just go and check them out, guys, as well. Is defending like a trooper coming out the exit of 5. You've got to make a choice, though, young sir. Are you going to defend the inside into turn 10? Let's just call it that. I know there's not 10 corners on here, but let's just call it that because that's what we're used to. Or would you defend the outside, Zach? That's going to be the question. And he didn't do either, basically. It was left there.
Fair enough. I'd say defend the inside of the first part because, as I said a second ago, you're not really going to be able to get a move on the outside. We haven't seen a move done around the outside of the first bit to give you the inside for the second. So it's always going to be more beneficial to do that. Parfitt doing a good job. He's only got a handful of laps left to go to defend this podium place. Paul Godden searching for a gap if he can, but it's not quite enough through the S's. He's just going to be searching for what he can get in the coming moments. A mistake from Edward Parfitt, though, puts him off sequence and does allow, you can see, Paul Godden to just be a little bit more comfortable through the S's and is actually eyeing up a move if he can set it up. Nothing into turn number 5, though. Edward Parfitt is going to have to nail this exit if he wants to hang on to the podium.
Yeah, he's going to have to get the run down the straight now. You can see David Ayres and Roger Morton are side by side, almost in up the front here as well. So there's a battle for 1-2 in the BAMs. There's a battle for 3 and 4. Let's see what happens as they come down into 10. It is Parfitt does manage to hold it with Godden tucked up behind him. Godden's trying to get the run out at the moment. There's a Morton here as well. The Alps providing the battles here, Zach, for these last final 3 minutes. Nearly 2 minutes almost.
Oh,
I tell you what,
not long left to go.
If these two make contact, McNally's
who's that?
McNally again.
Easily done. Again, a small mistake from McNally cost him the place to both cars. No difference in terms of points, but we have not got long left to go. What is this, penultimate lap now of this race? It will be the final one next time by. McHutchinson, to be fair, the gap has half back to Adam Delmont, but I don't think he's going to be too big of a threat into the final stage. Carl Hardy trying to put a bit of pressure onto Delmont as well, but our main focus, I think, is this fight. And only for the lead, there's also one for the podium places a little bit further down between Parfitt and Godden. About to start.
I don't think so.
The final lap. We've got 2 more to go.
Yes, I think it's 2 more because he crossed over the line within the 1:04 mark. So he's going to have this one and one more, Zach. So it's not going to be done yet. Morton's still got a chance of catching David Ayres if he can pull that in as well. Parfitt still holding back Godden as they're coming around the final corner here as well. So this could be, getting spicy in the arms, should we say?
Yeah, I would agree. These guys, they know how to put on a show. Always going to be a bit of fireworks as we've still get another lap beyond this to enjoy the racing action. No complaints from myself at all. It just means we've got 1 lap longer to keep our eyes peeled on what could be some sensational sends. I'm sure that David Ayres and Edward Parfitt are not going to be liking the fact there's 1 extra lap in this race, but I'm going to be almost certain that the likes of Morton and Godden are very happy. We've got an extra lap. You can see there Morton under a bit of pressure from McNally, putting him on the back foot, and the pro driver disrupting this fight ever so slightly. We are now about to start the final lap of this race. McHutchinson starts the 18th and final run here in Road Atlanta. 2 seconds back to Adam Delmont. Sees that fight very unlikely unless there's a mistake. Adam McNally into 8th place overall, I think, has brought an end to this fight.
Yeah, Parfitt's gone off track. Godden's gone off as well. I think Edwards made a mistake. I think he went off the side of the circuit there as well, and I think he's got to slow down. And he's actually going into the pits here as well. What was all happened at the end there? Was he helped off? He was! Oh, Paul Godden! No way! I think he's steering shot. I don't think he can control that car, look. Oh. He's awful, he's in the pits, but McHutchinson, here's Zach, final corner.
Yeah, He's driven a near perfect race and has been almost uncontested since gaining the race lead early on. He's dealt with the carnage perfectly from the second row. John McHutchison, the Scotsman, takes the final win in Road Atlanta, followed by Adam Delmont, up 11 places in second to take back some huge points in the championship. Carl Harley rounds off the podium with Seelan Dima in behind. A fight to the end though as David Ayres is about to cross the line to take his AM victory. 7th place overall as well. McNally and Morton fighting across the line for 8th overall. But Morton 2nd place in the AMs. Now, of course, we eagerly look back, I think, after the issues for Parfitt and Godden. It's actually going to be Dan Lewis that takes 3rd place in the AMs, followed by Dixon, Walsh and Littler to sort of round off the top 6 in the AMs. So a very chaotic race nonetheless. We'll obviously confirm the full grid order when we can get the results. But James, what a way to round off the evening.
Yeah, and I think that's such a shame when some of the battles come to the end like that as well. Them guys were so having such a great battle. And I think Godden did slow down as well, so he was going to try and allow him back through. And that's Never-Ending Winkleface. I do love that name, and YouTube says that's so unfortunate. It was as well, because he was driving a race of a lifetime for him. And as soon as we went on board, you saw his steering. It's such a shame. You know, generally when battles end like that, regardless who it is, not just because it's my boy, it is such a shame because they were going at it tooth for nail, and it was an epic race.
Completely agree. Not really much to fault it, but here are the results. McHutchinson from Delmont and Hardy, the podium with Michael Seal and Lee Dima, the top 5. Then comes Derek Crowther and David Ayres, the victor in the AMs, followed by Adam McNally, Roger Morton and Charles Kellerman, the top 10. Pete Newman, after an off, found himself just outside the top 10, but still not too bad considering he's already taken 2 races where he's been ahead of Delmont in terms of points. Carl Jacklett, Brian Holmes, Gibbons and Lewis at the top 15, with Dixon, Walsh and Littler just in behind that. Beyond that, we've got the likes of Paul Godden, Sir Alan Toon, Edward Parfitt, Ollie Ricks, who was initially fighting for a podium place, ended up in a DNF. Craig Jones and Mick Barry, another DNF to add to his tally, 24th and last place. James, what an evening of racing, and bring on the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to how this season goes, because I think it's going to be an absolute epic one here. And once more, and let's have a chat with the man that has taken his first ever Clio win, if I'm not mistaken, here as well, Mr. John McHutchison. Welcome in, John.
Thanks, James. Yeah. Yay, go me.
Yeah, God, do you know what, John? It should be go you as well, because you've done a couple of rounds, mate, and you've taken a win. Come on. You got to be happy with that.
Oh, delighted. Absolutely delighted, mate. I'm smiling from ear to ear. Chuffed to bits.
Yeah, we can hear that as well when you speak, John. So it's an absolutely incredible. Look, your evening overall, not too bad, you know, and then you come and do something like this. What was race 1 and 2 like for you?
A bit hectic, to be honest. I apologise to Lee for taking him out in race 1. I just got spooked by the guy coming up the inside and braked too late and took the 2 of us out. Then race 2 was a bit of a helter-skelter as well. You know, you expect that, close racing. Yeah, little hot hatches, so a bit of door banging going on. Good, all good.
That's the thing, isn't it? You've come from the SR10, where you can't door bang in the SR10 because otherwise the cardboard makeup of the body would just put you into danger. And now you've come into a Clio where you can have this close side-by-side racing. Have you enjoyed coming into the Clio?
Yeah, absolutely. Elbows out, you know, it's as long as it's fair, I don't mind a bit of door rubbing, bit of banging. You know, there was a couple of incidents there that weren't right, but that's the way it goes, you know.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I should hope so as well. And taking your first win, that's good when you're going into Zandvoort Club next week as well. I don't know if you've ever driven that one.
I have actually. Yeah, you turn a right going round the fast left.
Yep.
And then you come back on. Yeah, I've done that, but not in the Clio, obviously.
Well,
so still learning, still trying to figure out the car. You know, and making some tweaks as I go along. Seem to be okay so far.
Definitely there, John, as well. Well, congratulations on your first win in the Clios. Go and have a nice stiff dram to finish off your evening. John, anyone
And some haggis.
Yeah, and some haggis. Why not? Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go, young sir?
No, not tonight. No, can't think of anyone. Sorry.
That's all right, mate. It's one of them questions that you're either going to say, yeah, I want to shout out this person, or no, mate, I don't know anyone. So there you go. John McGutchison, thank you, buddy. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Yeah, thanks, James.
Take care, mate.
Bye-bye.
Right. Right, now we're going to have a chat with young Mr. Carl Jacklett here as well. Carl, welcome in to you. How was your evening of racing?
Oh, I just had no pace tonight. Really, really struggled on this track. I mean, last week I was third fastest in practice, and this week I was 18th. Just had no pace at all. Tried to keep out of trouble, but the last race got a bit messy. Collected a few people that were going sideways and backwards.
Yes, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Let's be real, Carl. We race so closely here in the Clios. When there is a car going backwards and sideways in front of you, you generally don't have much place to go. So I think overall, that's just the nature of our racing. You got 11th in race 1 as well. And then obviously, I think you were 8th in race 2. And then coming into race 3, of course, you finished in 12th as well. So, yeah, a bit of an up and down evening.
Yeah. Yeah, you roll the dice when people are sliding around, and
hope you go the right way.
Tonight, yeah, you roll the dice now, but scratched my new paint a bit. But
yeah, I did notice that. Are you still in the optical green team?
Yes, I am, but I'm just promoting a new website that I'm building at the moment. It's not quite live yet. Photomedia.uk for my photography.
Okay.
So, yeah, I thought, I'd get a paint for the GT3 League and spent a lot of time doing this one, and thought, I'm going to do it on the others. Because I thought it looked really good. Really nice paint.
Yeah.
Nice and simple, but bright.
Exactly. And I think as well, go check it out, guys. How long is it going to be till you get it up there, Carl?
Should be up by next week, I hope.
Well, there you go, guys. Go and have a look at that one as well. I promised Carl I wouldn't charge him for the advert that he's just produced. All right? Don't worry.
Yeah, you've got to get it in there.
Yeah, I know, mate. That's the thing, especially when I go, is there anyone you want to shout out, Carl? You know what I mean?
Yeah, photomedia.uk.
Yeah. Funny that.
Paul's premier photographer.
Well, there you go, guys, as well. Check it out. Carl, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Can't wait to have a chat with you next week as we go tackle the Zandvoort Club Circuit.
It's under construction.
Zandvoort with a new banked corners.
Well, yes. That's going to be an interesting one. Right, Carl, have a good one there, bud. And we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Take care.
Ciao. Have a good week.
Bye.
The website he shouted out is under construction.
Yeah.
Can't actually go and see it yet.
No, he did say next week.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Put it in the calendar.
Yeah, we'll put it in the calendar. Let's have a chat with Paul Godden, who I've got a funny feeling we just caught mid-conversation with John McHutchinson here as well. The man, unfortunately, has had a very up-and-down evening. 19th in race 1, 16th in race 2, and 19th in race 3. Paul, some fun battles though there, mate.
Yeah, they had some really good battles, but it's just some really unfortunate incidents. And and first of all, I want to say sorry to your son in race 3. I was running along the bumpers all night, and we ran along his bumper, and I thought I'd just try and go up the inside a little bit, and all of a sudden I got a 0x, and then I got a 2x, and it fired him off into the wall. And I was so angry with myself, I just threw it in the wall myself. So.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't fair with me finishing. I tried to get him to go back past, but he was already going into the pit, so I just threw it in the wall and the straight. And a bit of anger and frustration because I've been doing it all night along there in quite quick, and I thought if I can just pressure him into that last bit to run wide, I can nip up the inside. But we just had, I don't know what it. I've looked at it, and I think I must have been that little couple of mile an hour too fast into the back of him and turned him round. But it's not my kind of style, and it was one of them nights really.
There was a little bit of air there.
Yeah, so it was weird because as I go back to the other incidents, in race 1 I had an incident with Daniel. where we come 3 wide in the last corner, and my car was actually moving before we hit each other. So I think that was a little bit of net code. And then race 2, I was doing quite well going for the reverse grid, trying to get second or third, and battling with Ollie. Really good battles all night I've had, which has been really good fun. And went into turn 1, and I just understeered into him, and I was like, I can't take the reverse grid pole for running into him, so I let him back through, battled again, and then ended up losing the front tyres with like 3 laps to go, and Craig come past, and then David come past with 1 lap to go, and I looked at the timings, and it said, oh, I'm 17th place and David's in 16th place. I thought, oh, that's all right, I can just sit behind him to the end of the race, come across the grid, and I looked at the grid and I thought, oh, he's got a reverse grid pole, so someone must have got a black flag or something on the very last lap, and yeah, that ruined that plan. But it was it's just one of them things where you get really annoyed with yourself, and just silly little things happened to yourself, and it was one to forget and move on.
Yeah,
I just feel bad for your son, because he was having a cracking race. He was like, his driving was really, really good, and I was trying not to be overly just enough aggressive, but not without doing anything stupid. And to do that to him, I feel sorry for him. So
he's all right. He's had a little couple of incidents all night, to be honest, and some that we can't even determine whose fault it was. Me and Zach both sat here going,
no,
I don't even know who that was. You know, Charles Kellerman in race 1 just seemed to miss his braking point and go off, and then he got spun by somebody else. But the thing is, I don't think it would bother him to a degree, because you guys had some really good racing for a good few laps as well. And, you know, I think it's all experience for Edward. He's, as I say, second season in league racing. So everything he does and everything people put him through is all good experience for him. So I don't think he'll come and see me. He always comes and sees me after the race. So I'll have a chat with him, Paul. It'll be all right, I promise.
It's like where I'm at, like annoyed with myself. I'm annoyed with myself about just like silly things. The actual racing incidents that have occurred to me, like the little bit of being spun round and stuff like that, that's all part of sim racing. And you learn from the bad races more than you do the good races. And but throughout the grid, the racing's been cracking. And I mean, the AMs and pros seem so close tonight with each other, like in the middle of the pack. You don't know who's who.
Yeah, I think that was the thing.
You could all be the similar pace. You like, some of the pros are really slow tonight, and some of the AMs are really quick, and you're like all in the middle pack battling away, and you're like, oh, normally I just let them through and they'll go off and have their own little battle, we'll have our own little battle. But that never happened, and I think that was probably why it was maybe a little bit more messy than it has been in the past this season, just because the grid was so compact on times and the nature of the layout of the circuit.
Yeah, I think this circuit did an absolutely stellar job as well. I love this circuit layout with these little cars. So on to Zandvoort Club Circuit. Now, me personally, I've never been there. I don't think I've been to the club circuit over my years of commentating. I'm not entirely sure if I have, to be honest. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, you just got to remember a turn right as you're coming up the straight. So I've done a couple of races there with some slower cars a couple of years back. And yeah, the first few laps come out of, I can't remember what the corner is, and you go straight on, and you're like, right, we've got a right turn, and it's a very sharp right turn, if I remember right, double 90, and then back, and then you're straight into the chicane, and then back out onto the banking where you're going to get a nice bit of a draft, hopefully, a bit similar to tonight. So it's going to be an interesting one, I think. Yeah.
Newly scanned banking as well, Paul. Newly scanned banking. Let's see how that one pans out. But Paul, it's been a pleasure chatting to you. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, just all the drivers as always, because they're making this league one of the best leagues, and all the drivers I talk to, they all say the same thing. They all just love it, and even when like a couple of them have some bad incidents and stuff, they're still happy and smiling, and it's just a great league to be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Godden. You take care. Have a good one, buddy. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, cheers.
Take care. Well, there you go, Zach. I think we can safely say that kind of what Paul says every single week, that kind of sums up what we've got here, doesn't it? All the drivers, some of the best racing they've had, clean racing as well, because I've barely got anything on my sheet of paper. Don't get me wrong. But I think that's what this community aspect has been all about. And these guys have been having some great racing, a little bit of leaning, as John McHutchison put it as well. And they've all enjoyed themselves. Carl Jacklett every single week comes away as happy as Larry.
Exactly. It goes back to what we were saying in race 2, I think it was, regarding, obviously, they're here to win, obviously. Everyone wants to win and have that competition. But at the end of the day, they're just here to burn off their Monday nights, have some fun with people they know they can trust. If they wanted to go get some easy wins, they'd go into officials, they'd have that ego boost, and, they'd easily win because everyone crashes themselves out and things like that. Very rarely are you able to have the racing that we see in Clios with random people on those official sessions. So league racing really is a platform for drivers. Yeah, obviously things happen, but 90% of the time you're going to go into a corner. If you're side by side with someone, you're going to emerge from said corner side by side. You're going to have that hard fought battle, which for most is enough competition to enjoy themselves. Doesn't matter if they finished second or 22nd, as long as they've gone out and enjoyed themselves. I think that's the best thing at the end of the day.
I fully agree with you. Wait, what did I miss? A lot. I think a lot of racing, a lot of action. Good fun, that, says Adam Dalmont as well. Welcome in, Adam. Thank you so much. It's been a very great evening of racing. We're going on to the Zandvoort Club circuit next week with the newly scanned banking. Have you been there yet, Zach?
I haven't. Not with the new scan of Zandvoort, but also not on the club circuit either. So, going to be an interesting one, a first.
First time for both of us. Check that out. Well, there you go.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. All right, guys, that's going to bring tonight's broadcast to an end. Thank you so much to all the people that joined us, and I'm going to try and remember you all. Let's see if I do it right. Mark Draper, Rhea, Phil. Who else was there? There was somebody else as well. Never Ending Winkle Face. Wait, what at the end there as well. And thank you so much for coming in with Adam Dalmont popping in at the end. That's going to round out tonight's broadcast. I'm going to go off and get some hot tea and honey because my voice is going again. But for now, from myself and Zach Sweeney, don't forget, like, subscribe, stick around. We've got more racing coming up on the JPB YouTube channel. But for now, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.